Hello everyone and good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. It is game week 8 deadline stream. How are we? How are we? Nice to see so many of you in already. Lots to talk about. We'll look at my team. We'll look at potential team news for the likes of Arsenal. Spurs were also the early kickoff. We'll go through everything we've learned during the international break as well. Thank you all for joining me. It has been 2 weeks since we've had a stream, of course, because it has been the international break, which is, of course, very, very boring for a lot of us. But I hope you have had a nice time. We will go through all of the good stuff. But before we do that, let's say hello to a few of you in the chat. If you are in, please say hello. I will go around and do the usual bit. I just realized that the storage on my computer is almost full, and when that happens, I get lots of lag. That's when the stream starts to lag. So I'm going to just, while you're all saying hello, just go and delete a few things. Where's the empty trash? Empty trash button. There we go. Right. We are good to go now. Jordan, I'm good. Thank you. Hello to Jordan. Hello to Zikakis. Ivar, Immortal, FPL Alexander Arnold, Steve, Luke, Fiona, Tony, John, all the members and moderators, Wolverine, hello, hello. Thank you all for your support on the channel. Good morning to everyone else as well. Merck, Osondu, Callan, Carly, Steve C, Moser, Sama, Roy, HM, Seabag, Atif, Daryl, Issa, Ben, Victor, Andrew, Saffron, Raj, Rajesh, FPL Tita, Bombus, Sushil. That is one hot cup of tea. That is one hot cup of tea. Deet, Scan, Jackson, Owen, Maxence, Tony, Hassan, Gabor, Annie, Tom, even, Bichet, Sally, Moser, Colin, Matt, Peter, and everyone else. Riley, hello, hello. Just to warn you, I slept very badly last night. I'm sure you'll all be incredibly interested to hear that. But what that does mean is this stream is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be that I'm just tired, right? Or I'm going to go a little bit hysterical. And my prediction is I'm tired for a lot of it. And then once we get about half an hour before the deadline, then I'll start being a little bit hysterical. But I did sleep quite badly last night. I don't quite know why, but I did. Those of you already asking, let's talk Saka first, because I feel like the chat is already full of Bukayo Saka questions. So what we're going to do, basically the answer is we don't know. There was these videos taken by a Twitter account called FPL Tommy Gum, who lives in Bournemouth, and he goes when the squad is there. And basically, we can't decide whether Saka is there or not. There is one player here. Let me turn the sound off. In a moment, who we don't know who it is. Yeah, there, in front of Trossard. Like, we don't know who this player is. Some people think it's Saka, because the players missing that it could be are Saka, Timber, and Sterling. So, but there's also only 18 players pictured in all of the videos combined, which means there are 3 other players that are likely to feature, one of which will be a goalkeeper. So there's 2 more outfield players on top of these. So we don't know on Saka, basically, is where we're at. This is peak FPL, absolutely. You can't hear the crowd shouting Saka. I thought they were shouting Saka. They are shouting Trossard if you listen carefully. Yeah, so it's very inconclusive, to be honest. Sorry, yes, the stuff in the top right just needs refreshing. Let me go and do that. So this doesn't actually give us anything massive on him. And the issue is they're the 5:30 kickoff. So I'm not confirming that we'll necessarily get anything. Which is a little bit annoying. Because they tend to do a walk in the morning. Now it's, we're going levels if this is what we're going to have a look at. But they tend to do a walk in the morning. So if we find out that, then that will help. But I don't put it past Arteta to go and stop him going on a walk. Like, could he just tell him to stay at home? It's absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. So, Rico Lewis. Sorry, everyone. Let me just... Van de Ven. Then it's Ryan Nori. Then we put Diego. And then in goal it was Raya. Flecken. It was then Pickford. Vicario. You're rich. Cool. And who did we have? Johnson, Foden, Neil. Van de Ven or Robinson this week. I'd play Van de Ven. I do expect Fulham Villa to be a close game, but I also expect there to be a goal in it for both sides. So that's where I'm at. Foden, McNeil. Sorry, who was I going to say? Leaf, Davies. There we go. And cool. I'm back. I am back in the room. Eze to Brennan Johnson or Jackson to Solanke. I actually feel like Jackson to Solanke is a bigger upgrade than the Eze out move. So I'd probably do the Jackson to... If you can do Jackson to Solanke for free this week, I probably would. The only reason I wouldn't do a Jackson to Solanke move this week, if you've got them, is if you want to go... If let's say we watch this weekend of Spurs and Solanke's dropping deep again, you might decide that next week you actually prefer Matheus Cunha. And for their fixtures from next week, Cunha's potentially a better pick. If we look at the FDR for Wolves, let's zoom. I was zooming out the wrong thing. Wolves go on a really nice run. Brighton, Palace, Southampton, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton. Like, it's a really, really solid run for Wolves from next week. So part of me, if you have Jackson, would go, actually, I'll wait a week. I'll let Solanke's points go if he gets them. But then you might end up going something different next week. Morning, Beardy. How are we doing? Pickford or Flecken? I think if you've got the money for Pickford, I quite like that. But of course, like this week, it looks better for Pickford, right? The fixture is better. He's also down to 4.8, so maybe I'd go Pickford, but it's pretty close. Like, the value probably makes me favour just going Flecken, but maybe Pickford is the better pick now. If Saka is actually out, Harry, what will I do? So let's talk about my move, shall we? While I do that, I'm going to clean my glasses. A little spray. Haven't done this in a while. For anyone with glasses as well, here's a little hint. My granny told me I wash my glasses in warm soapy water every so often, like maybe once a week. And although like wiping your glasses will do a good job, putting them in like just giving them a bit of a wipe with your fingers in warm soapy water does anything. Does a whole world of good. It is a cup of tea. I don't know what brand it is. I don't know. It's just it gets bought in a box, and then I think it might be Yorkshire tea, but I don't know. Contact lenses, Harry. So I'm quite squeamish, for anyone who doesn't know. Like, the thought of putting something in my eye every day fills me with dread. So I'm all good. We'll stick with glasses. So, yeah, my transfer plans. Right. So, if Saka is out this week, I will probably just bench him. Because I still want him long term. Now, I could go to a Foden, for example, for 4 weeks and then go back to Saka. The issue is I'll want Saka back in 12. So, I mean, I could go Foden short term and then go back to Saka. I could go Son. I don't really love the idea of Son. I just think whilst Lanky's there, he's not quite as important. So, I mean, maybe Son is the pick, but I think it's unlikely that I go to Son. I could go Brennan Johnson. My initial reaction was to bench him, though. My initial reaction was to bench him. Play Semenyo. And then just keep him for them going forward. Because I still am under the impression that I want him for the long term, as a long-term hold, along with Palmer. Those of you asking on the other potential transfers, the Trent Smith-Rowe swap to Aït-Nouri and Cole Palmer. Of course, there have been no price changes on it yet. And to be honest, it doesn't look like there's going to be... I got quite good price changes last night. I had Wood, Raya, and someone else who went up, Slanky. Lewis predicted to go up. So the thing is, like, Palmer is quite a long way off. I'd be surprised if Palmer rises tonight, given that he doesn't play today. And that's the aim. Like, I don't want to be forced into making a transfer before the Chelsea-Liverpool game tomorrow and before Wolves play against Manchester City as well. Smith Rowe is not going to drop. It's whether Palmer rises tonight, which I'd be surprised at. So the plan at the moment is to roll the transfer. And then it will probably be to roll the transfer through tonight and then potentially have a look at doing some transfers. Tomorrow is currently where we're at with the plan as well. Buonanotte or McNeil. McNeil out of the two, yeah. Alexander, thank you for the super chat. Instead of Smith Rowe, Mavadidi, would I hold Diaz? Oh, it's gone. 4 free transfers. Trent, Saka, Havertz, and Diaz out for Ryan Aït-Nouri, Foden, Son, Solanke. Saka, Havertz. So Havertz was pictured with the squad, so Havertz should play. Is that worth 4 free transfers? I don't know. If Haaland captain feels a lot. It feels like if I wanted to use 4 free transfers, I'd want them to be obvious. Like, yes, I would do those moves, and I don't really feel like those fall into that category. So no, I don't think I would. Let me update the benching ranking. So people are asking about Van de Ven. I would definitely play. Then I would play... I'd play Robinson or Mikalenko. Probably Mikalenko now that Branthwaite's back. Cool. Let's just update the benching ranking for you all. Is there a big rivalry with you or the other content creators? For example, FPL Raptor. No, there's not. There's not at all, actually. Ross, Raptor, and Oscar Focal, the three of us, we talk pretty much every day. So there's not a rivalry. We just talk a lot, so we kind of are aware of what the other ones are getting on with. I actually like to see them do well because we all know what it's like when you don't, when things are going rough. How long is the Zoom call? For GOAT members, it's 1 hour on a Thursday afternoon or evening. Yeah, do I think this will be a bad week where straight after the international break? So for those of you who aren't aware, the week straight after the international break is often quite a bad week of FPL. A lot of players returning late to their clubs, meaning players are not fully up to speed, which often means there's low scoring games and things are slightly more unpredictable. So we might be in store for another low scoring week of FPL, which, you know, it is what it is. It's not ideal, right? But just worth bearing in mind, which is part of me why I also, if possible, don't want to use my transfers, because sometimes things go as they are. It might be Nelson, but it could also be Sterling out on that right wing as well. Rory, 26 months and counting, watching the stream out in sunny Cyprus today. Rory, thank you very much. Thank you for the 26 months. Enjoy Cyprus. It is currently rainy London, Rainy London at the moment. So lucky you. Does transferring Luis Diaz to Brennan Johnson now make sense for the short term? Yes, I do. Plans to get Palmer in for Johnson in game week 12, in game week 11. I think 12, but maybe it's 11. I'm pretty sure they play Arsenal at home in 11, so it would be 12. But yeah, I don't mind going someone like Johnson or Foden before going to Palmer if you don't own Palmer already. Of course, if you own Palmer, I wouldn't sell him. But if you don't want to buy him already, then I kind of get it. But yeah, we have nothing reliable on Arsenal. If we get anything before the deadline, like, I will let you know. And as much as late news is good for the stream, if I'm honest, I don't think we're going to get anything. It's too late. The game is too late today. It's a 5:30 kickoff. I don't think we're going to get anything. Like, maybe they'll leave the hotel and go for a morning walk, but like, even if that's the case, what's to say Arteta tells Saka not to go? Like, what's the case that they don't all go? What's the case that they don't go on it? Like, what's the case that they do go and we get the footage? I don't know. I don't know. I was confident last week that we'd get something on Arsenal. I'm not confident this week. And if that's the case, I'm going to hold him. I can't sell Saka on a whim, on a guess that he might not feature. So, which is a shame. The injury also does sound pretty minor though, so I probably plan on keeping him anyway. So, we'll see. I'm not that confident on any news for Bukayo Saka this week. Would I do Jackson to Slanky have 1 free? So I spoke about this. I probably would. The only reason I wouldn't is if there's a chance that, let's say Slanky plays deep tonight and you decide you want to go Matez Cunha next week instead. But I would imagine Slanky's a better pick than Jackson this week. So, like, the chances are that Jackson is outscored by Slanky by 4 points anyway, that if you had to make an extra transfer to go for Solanke, then fine. How many times do we have to go through this? Saka 100% starts. And that's absolutely fine. There are some people who have been very confident from the moment it happened that he would be absolutely fine. I went through a phase of thinking it looked like a proper injury. Then I was pretty confident that he was going to play after the comments from Lee Carsley. And now I am less confident than I was before. Morning, Harry. Sounds like you just woke up. Sorry, I slept horribly, so that may be why. I'm drinking my cup of tea. I've got my glass of water. I've also got my Huel for anyone who watched our final decisions video yesterday. This will be my breakfast or my lunch as well. If you want to go and... The link is in the description here if you want to go and check it out. And FPL Harry is the code as well. Because no one wants to see me actually eat on stream, do you? Like, so we have this. This is the coffee caramel flavour, and it is banging. So, Wood or Mavadidi? I play Wood over Mavadidi. Would I do Jackson to Slanky? Yeah, I'm not turning into Bevo on stream, so you're all good. But I will drink my Huel if that's okay. It's nice. I've also got... So it comes in this bag. And then you put it in. It is linked in the description if you do want to check it out. 40 grams of protein, 26 essential vitamins and minerals, plant-based, low sugar, gluten-free. You're welcome. Hamad, do we think Diaz plays? Yeah, so I spoke about Diaz. You know the rules. Exactly. I think Diaz will start. I think Liverpool will go... I think Liverpool will go in with a very full strength lineup. they will go in with a very full strength lineup. So I expect Jota to start. I expect Salah to start. I expect Luis Diaz to start. Yeah. Johnson or Solanke? I actually prefer Johnson. I actually prefer Johnson over Solanke based on what we saw against Brighton. Now, if what we saw against Brighton doesn't stick and Solanke goes back up front, then it might change my answer. But with Solanke dropping deep and Johnson running in behind, I much prefer the... Well, I don't much prefer, but I prefer the idea of Johnson. John, thank you for joining as a member. Welcome to the channel. How are you all doing? Non-Haaland owners, who is your captain? That's a good one. I'm interested to know. I'm interested to know. If you're not on Haaland, who is your captain? Because are you captaining Saka? Which you can do, as long as your vice captain is good. I might not vice captain Saka. Someone in the chat, I saw you say it. I mean, it might be Chris Wood. Monday night vice captain. Would I start Mykolenko or Greaves? I would start Mykolenko out of the two. In a moment, in the top right-hand corner, there are some top players to buy if you want to have a look at those. There's also a benching decision. There's a captaincy ranking. There's benching as well, which will come round, which will have players to start. It will basically rank players from players to start to players to bench. What are my thoughts on Sanchez and Jota out, Pickford and Johnson in? I quite like those moves. I'm not sure that Jota to Johnson is necessarily worth it this week, but I quite like Pickford as a Sanchez replacement. You're unsure on vice captain. Yeah, I mean, I'll put it on Chris Wood. What a guy. Monday night vice captain. Play McNeil over Havertz. I'd probably play Havertz. I'd probably play both. I'm surprised you've got no one in your starting lineup to bench, but I would play Havertz over McNeil. Given that Havertz has been pictured with the squad. Would I play Mykolenko or Van der Ven again? So Van der Ven is above Mykolenko in my benching ranking. Bench Cunha, Rodgers or Palmer? I'd bench Cunha. Cunha versus Rodgers is close. You definitely play Palmer. There's no week in the season you should bench Palmer. Cunha versus Rodgers. I'd probably bench Cunha based off the fixture. Lewis over Konza or Dunk? I'd play Lewis over Dunk, definitely. I'd play Konza over Dunk, yeah. Would I sell Calvert-Lewin for Solanke? Probably not. I would stick and hold on to Calvert-Lewin just based off the fixtures. Lewis. 2 free transfers, Solanke and Semenyo to Johnson and Wood. I don't mind it. If you have money, I would probably go Cunha over Wood now. Just with no Morgan Gibbs-White. There's always been something that's put me off buying Chris Wood pretty much every week. It was the turn of the fixtures. It was the... there was another injury. There was a change in system. They were then playing Chelsea. There was the slight price increase above Calvert-Lewin. There was lots going on that every week I feel like he's never been a priority buy. It just went with him in game week 1, so I've just kept holding on to him. I would go Cunha over Wood though. Long term, I think it pays off. Maybe you go Wood this week and you get enough points to make the additional transfer, but I'm not certain because City leak goals. I probably would go Cunha before Wood now. On wildcard, do I keep Palmer versus Liverpool? Personally, I'd do it. I'd go Palmer and Saka on wildcard, probably. Trent and Diaz out for Aït-Nouri and Palmer. I currently plan on rolling my transfer and doing those 2 moves next week. I could also sell Solanke to do it. Which is an interesting one. It's a shame I can't do Solanke to Cunha to afford it, because then I really would consider it. If Diaz is starting, why are you transferring him out? I sold him last week. I sold him going into game week 7. I would probably sell Diaz because I think he'll start. I think he'll only play max 70 minutes, and he'll be a risk going forward as well. So I still think Brennan Johnson is a better pick even this week. Matt Sells has been declared fit, and he's also been pictured in training. So if you've got Matt Sells as your goalkeeper, it looked quite bad at one point over the international break. They were saying it could be a while, but it looks like he's fine. Bench Rogers or Dibbling. This is a really hard one, which we might add to the benching decisions. I would probably advise going Rogers over Dibbling. I just like Aston Villa much more than I like Southampton. I'd go Rogers over Dibbling. On wildcard, no Haaland. Do I captain Son or Foden? If you're on wildcard, I would go Haaland, especially if you're on wildcard. Especially with Saka being, a doubt, right? But do I captain Son or Foden? I'd probably captain Son, because at least Son's definitely guaranteed to start. With De Bruyne back in training, we just don't know that. We just don't know that Foden starts. Start Trent or Milenkovic. You can't ever bench Trent. If you're benching Trent, you sell him, to be honest. So, yeah, I'd start Trent. Foden Defo starts? Probably. Is wildcard without a Liverpool player a risk? If I was on wildcard this week, I'd have no Liverpool. So I think it's a risk, right? But if you own Liverpool, you're not going to own someone else. Like, there's risks. There's going to be risks whatever your team looks like this season. Unfortunately, you can't cover everything. So who do I recommend to replace Diaz? Brennan Johnson I like. McNeil I like, or trying to go up to Palmer, depending on how much money you've got. Brennan Johnson's the obvious one. Brennan Johnson's the obvious one that most people will go to. Start Cunha or Mavididi. Probably Mavididi, but it's close. Would I go Rogers or Mavididi if I had the choice? I'd go Rogers. I can add Mavididi to the benching decision. But it feels like it's only me who's got him. Do I think Luis Diaz starts? Yeah, I do think he starts, yes. Do I remember Arnold and Solanke for Palmer and a cheaper forward? Arnold and Solanke for Palmer. I don't know who the midfielder you're selling is in that situation, so I can't answer it. Fella, good morning. If I owned Havertz and Saka and 2 free transfers, what would I do? I would start them both. I'd start them both. Havertz is definitely pictured with the squad. Saka as well. I mean, there's a lot of people going Havertz to Solanke this week, which I do kind of get. But if I was in the position of Havertz, I understand it with Jackson. With Havertz, I'd want an extra week on Solanke versus Cunha. So if it was me, I'd roll and then reassess Solanke or Cunha next week and sell Havertz next week. Saka, for me, like, if there's even I still think we're over. Even the worst case scenario of people giving a percentage is probably 50-50 that we get a start from Saka. I personally would put it about 70-80%. And in that's the case, I can't sell Saka. I can't even bench him. So, and the thing is, right, if Saka doesn't play, that means Arsenal will be without Saka and Odegaard. And it makes them weaker, which means I'm fine to play Semenyo. Is basically my thinking on it. It's not the perfect scenario, but having 3 cheap midfielders in my midfield and then Brian Mbeumo, who goes away to United. But why so keen on selling Jackson? I just think there's better options for the next few weeks and going forward as well. Would I sell Diaz? I probably would sell Diaz this week. Yeah. If you have a route to Palmer and you want to wait and do Palmer in game week 9, then that's fine as well. But I would probably go. This would probably be my last week with. This would probably be my last week with Diaz in my team. Fiona, thank you very much. Thousands of exclamation mark emojis. Isn't necessary. Thank you. Do I plan on bringing in Palmer? Probably not today, no. Probably not. I don't think I'm going to do... Well, I'm almost certain I'm not going to do it before the deadline. But if we get news on Saka, it could change it, but I doubt it. Why not start Saka, and if he doesn't play, he gets... Well, exactly. Like, if Saka doesn't play, he just gets subbed off for Semenyo. The issue is like, that's 10 million that you've suddenly lost in budget this game week, right? I've got 2.7 million in the bank. I've got quite a lot. Because I sold Luis Diaz for Mavididi last week. Would I do Eze to Johnson? Thank you, Average Has. Good morning to you as well. Eze to Johnson. I probably would. I mean, I don't know what the rest of your team looks like, but I probably would do that transfer. Bench one of Greaves, Aina, Gabriel, and Rico. I'd bench Greaves. I'd probably bench Greaves. Yep. And worth doing Havertz to Solanke for free. I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't do Havertz to Solanke for free. I'd wait a week. And if Solanke looks good, then you do Havertz to Solanke next week. But if he looks bad, then you do Havertz to Cunha instead. So yeah, I mean, this was the original plan, was to do... Let me do it on plan FPL. Let me reset. There we go. So I'll probably roll, and I discussed this all in my team selection video in more detail. Do Smith Rowe to Palmer and Trent to Aït-Nouri. But I can do Solanke to... The issue is I'd want Cunha. Like, I could go to Delap, but I'd want it to be Cunha. And then I'm still 1.5 million short. So... I mean, the Mavididi transfer, I do regret it a little bit. I do regret it a little bit. Because even if I do Trent to Aït-Nouri, I'm going to want Cunha in place of Chris Wood. Which sadly is that then another transfer. And it probably is... it could be Lewis that comes out when their fixtures in game week like 11 onwards don't look as good. It could be Mavididi as well, to someone at 5 million, right? So, yeah, that's where we're at with it. I don't know. I have no idea who I'd go in this bracket at this point. Maybe I go down to Dibbling, but I don't love that, to have that over Christmas. So... Sort by points. Oh no, points descending. Buonanotte, but yeah. There's not loads in there at the moment. So right now, I just need to know where I'd free up that 0.3 million. Who would be the ideal transfer? I mean, maybe I should have just gone Dibbling. But I needed a better fixture last week, so... But this is the current sort of thought process of where we're going to try and get to. This is the current thought process. Benching order between Robinson, Vaz and Winks. Oh, Winks definitely last. Then Faz, then Robinson. I haven't got Faz on here. Faz would be pretty low. Would I play Faz over Aït-Nouri? I'm not sure I'd do that, to be honest, this week. Diaz to Foden, I don't mind as a punt short term. Yeah, the only thing is De Bruyne being back is probably enough to put me off going for It's probably enough to put me off going for Foden. I spoke about it on the fantasy show yesterday. For anyone who saw me, anyone who watched it, let me know. I recommended Foden as differential. I do like him, but with De Bruyne back, it does put me off a little bit. We are 40 minutes into the stream, and I haven't plugged once. I've done my little intro, and I did it then, but I haven't done it now. If you haven't dropped a like on the stream or subscribed, if you are new, please do. Yeah. Should I bench Konate for double Arsenal? Yeah. I play Arsenal over Konate this week. There are 3,000 of you in that haven't liked. If not, 3,500. And if 500 of you liked, we'd hit 1,000 likes. What a start to the day that would be. What's my favourite Huel flavour? Normally chocolate, but I hadn't had the coffee caramel flavour, and it is really good. Two 4 million defenders or one 3.9 and 8 Nori. I probably would go 8 Nori. Mint chocolate is good. I'm a big fan of the hot and savoury stuff as well. I've got hoisin duck noodles as well. They're really good. They're really good. Lewis or Aina? Lewis. Anderson and Mikalenko. Anderson I don't mind. Anderson I don't mind, but the Fulham fixtures are not quite as good going forward. You think no Haaland is sustainable? Yes, like I don't love it for periods where he has really nice fixtures like now, but I don't think the no Haaland will, like, there will be teams who do well at the end of the season that has no Haaland. Would I remove Semenyo and Saliba for Manil and Dalot? No. Semenyo to Manil you can do, but I wouldn't do Saliba to Dalot. The latest on Arsenal, Havertz was pictured with the squad last night. Saka we can't tell if he's with the squad or not. The video's not clear enough. So I'm sorry, but Andy Martin, like, as much as he likes to troll, was so funny last night. For anyone who doesn't know, we basically, with that video of Saka, we tried to tell how tall the player was. And Andy Martin lived in Bournemouth, and he went and took a photo in front of the sign to try and help us. Will Ennis just retweeted it as well. That's why I saw it again. It's so funny. Spurs team are in the building for the game, and it includes a picture of Heung-min Son. For anyone who is wondering about him, let me have a look. Let me just search Arsenal squad into Twitter. Nothing really. Apparently there's... Hang on one sec. When was this photo taken? Oh, 30th of September. Well, that'll be why. There are just more. There are just more training photos. They naturally leave out all the potentially injured players. But I'm just checking nothing slipped through. Sterling is there, but I don't see any more. No. Nothing helpful, sadly. Do I think Havertz is better value than Saka? No. I think they're both good value, but I would probably go Saka. Jimenez I don't mind. Jimenez I don't mind as a pick for the short term. And then you can move to Welbeck. The fixtures swap quite well with Welbeck. You said De Bruyne is back, mate. Isn't he ruled out this week? So he is ruled out. Well, no. Pep said it's unlikely that he features, but then they tweeted a picture of him in training. So I don't quite know what that means. It does also mean he's likely back pretty soon. Like, Foden's a good pick for this weekend, but you might have an issue next weekend. Let me get the photo. Let me find the photo for you. It was or maybe it was tweeted by one of the City accounts, but he was pictured in training. So I don't think Foden is likely to be an issue for Wolves, but he might be an issue going forward. Sell Luis Diaz to Brennan Johnson this week or just roll? I probably would do it this week. Diaz, McNeil or Johnson? I'd go Johnson out of them. Start Mikalenko or Semenyo? Interesting. I'd go Semenyo. Play the attacker always. Hassan, 2 free transfers. Team is Henderson, Trent, Pau Torres, Porro, Saka and Burmo, Eze, Wood, Haaland, Watkins. Should I sell Eze? To be honest, I'd roll. Eze to Brennan Johnson is probably the move, but I don't think it's necessarily needed this week. I probably would do it though, to be fair. Eze to Johnson. Diaz out for a hit. No, I wouldn't do that for a hit, no. Triple captain earning Haaland this week? No. I need to see more improvement from Manchester City and Haaland in terms of chances created over the past few weeks for me to consider the triple captain. I might be triple captaining him next week at home to Southampton if we see an improved performance from Haaland and Manchester City tomorrow. But right now, I don't want to be putting my triple captain on a team that don't look quite at it. Would I get Saka in this week? Not with a transfer. If I was on wildcard, I probably would still own Saka. I mean, you could go like Foden and not go Saka and just leave money in the bank and do the move in a few weeks, but just not the worst idea. Johnson minutes nailed with Son back. Yes, Son will come in for Timo Werner. Yes. It might mean he's slightly more prone to the subs. Like when Taverne has been subbed off, it won't be Son getting subbed off anymore. It's possible, but Son's also just come back from injury, so you might be fine. Who to play, Trent or Robinson? Trent. If you've got Trent, you definitely play him. Smith Rowe, Rodgers or Delap? I'd bench Smith Rowe out of that list. Smith Rowe or Rodgers? I'd play Rodgers over Smith Rowe. Rodgers or Semenyo? I'd play Rodgers. He's above in my benching ranking. Would I start a Forest defender over any of mine? No. I wouldn't. So if you've got a Forest defender instead of Mikalenko, I wouldn't make the transfer. I wouldn't start him. If I did have that, it might make me, I suppose, more inclined to make the Trent switch this week because I'd have a better defender to cover. But I don't mind Mikalenko this week. Greaves or Mikalenko to start? I'd start Mikalenko. Just with Branthwaite and Mikalenko back, Everton are a better side. Son or Foden as a 4-week punt if Saka is out? Probably Son. I do think Diaz starts. I don't think he massively plays more than 70 minutes, and I think he might be an issue next week. But looking at game week 8 in particular, I do think that we will get a start from Luis Diaz. Yes. Harry, Watkins to Slanky, Diaz to Maddison from -4. I wouldn't go Maddison over Brennan Johnson. DCL to Slanky, Diaz to Maddison, and Semenyo to 4.4 mid. DCL to Slanky, Diaz to Maddison, and Semenyo to... I'd go Johnson over Maddison. And then you might not even need to know the last one. Do I regret selling Rodgers? No, not really. I don't feel... I mean, like, maybe like this week I'd take Rodgers over Mavididi. But if Mavididi does anything in the next couple of games, I'll be absolutely fine with it. I'll be absolutely fine with it. It's like Rodgers... I know, like, Rodgers is the sensible pick and maybe it's the move I should have done, but I didn't feel like there was much in it. And I fancy doing something a little bit different. Rodgers or Delap for the bench. Play Delap over Rodgers. Delap shouldn't even be in a benching conversation this week. Is Semenyo not a higher priority sell than Mavididi? No. So, the closer we get to game week 11 to Semenyo, the more he becomes a hold. Because from game week 11, the fixtures are pretty nice. I'm pretty happy to play Semenyo pretty much every week here. Like, even I'll play him at home to Spurs. I can play him pretty much every week here until game week 20 into January. So he's a 2-month, what is that? Like almost, yeah, November, December, I would just play Semenyo full stop. I mean, Mavididi, like if he starts doing something, like let's say he scores or does something in the next 2-3 games, then maybe. But right now, the Semenyo was always the long-term play for me. Will Slanky's minutes be in danger after Richarlison's return? No. I actually think the Richarlison return is good for Solanke because it will mean like in Europe midweek, I expect Richarlison to play and Solanke won't play. So Solanke will get more of a rest, I imagine. Muniz to Delap, to play Delap over Smith Rowe. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably just play Smith Rowe. Muniz. Someone hasn't played their wild card. Is it okay to swap Delap and Calvert-Lewin this week? I wouldn't do that either. I wouldn't go either way on that transfer. I'd just hold Delap and I would hold Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin, unfortunately, I know the returns have not been there, is just definitely a hold. It's definitely a hold. What do I think about bringing in Kovacic? Oh, you played your wild card in 3. Fine. Then maybe you want to get... I'd wait and I'd sell him to another striker next week. I'd play Smith Rowe. Sorry, fella. I was answering a question and then I got distracted. It is absolutely chucking it down with rain. Like... wow. It is absolutely chucking it down and Holly is out in the rain. She has her umbrella, unfortunately. And I don't know if she's actually in the rain at the moment. Would I transfer Konza for Lewis? I mean, if you don't have much else to do in your team, it is an upgrade, so probably. Still, I don't think we're going to... I really... So the level people are going to... the legs of people are going to. Apparently, that person that we don't know who it is that was trying to hide their identity when they arrived with the Arsenal squad is wearing New Balance shoes, and that's what Saka wears. And Timber wears he has an Adidas brand deal, so he only wears Adidas. This is the levels we are at. Is Son starting? Son's been pictured arriving with the Spurs squad. He's apparently been training for quite a few days. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Harry, there's no way the quality is good enough to determine if they're New Balance shoes. I know, but I want to know who it is. I want to know what to do with Saka. I'm just trying to do my best. Just trying to do my best. Who to bench? Van der Berg or Greaves? I'd play Greaves, definitely. Madders or Johnson? Definitely just go the cheaper option in Johnson. What should I do with Diaz? I mean, you can hold him this week, but I probably would be looking to sell him either this week or next week. Thoughts on Mikalenko or Aina? I play Aina much as the home fixture as well. I think the bigger clue is that the youngster Cabio is with the squad. He plays right wing and has never made a PL squad. Yeah. That is telling. Thoughts on Palmer, Saka to Son, Foden for the next 4? Palmer, Saka to Son, Foden for the next 4. I wouldn't sell Palmer or Saka at the moment. Unless we get news that he's out, then maybe. Liam, let me have a look. What game week does Palmer become a must-have? I would say game week 12. I want to check it's 12 and not like 13 because, I mean, I would say away at Leicester in 12. 16 at the very latest, but he'll be at over 11 million by 16. So I would say 12 I would say 12. If you don't go 12 and you want to go 13, then fine, but I wouldn't want to leave it much later than that. We need to go much further than that. Bench Semenyo or Calvert-Lewin. I'd bench Semenyo for Calvert-Lewin, yeah. Would I sell Watkins for Solanke? I would only sell Watkins when you start to need the money. If it's purely Watkins out, Solanke in this week, I wouldn't do it. If you need the money to do something else, like an upgrade in midfield to get a Brendan Johnson or something in defence, then absolutely. But how long until deadline? An hour. It is 9:57 in the UK. Deadline is at 11 o'clock. So just over 1 hour. Just over 1 hour. And it is currently 9:57. There you go. Smith Rowe or Rodgers? I'd play Rodgers over Smith Rowe. Salah to Palmer. Again, I'd only sell Salah if you need the money for something else. If that money is just going to sit in the bank this week, Salah is a better pick than Palmer when they play against each other at home for Salah. So Watkins, Trent, Salah, you can sell these players, but I would only sell them the week you're going to spend the money on something else. If price isn't an issue, then they're good picks. So don't do it if you're going to not spend the money on something else. Is Martinelli injured? We're expecting Martinelli to be fine. Come on, lads. 4K in the stream, but only 800 likes. 4,500 in the stream and only 800 likes. I'm sure we can hit 1,000 likes right now. Mazraoui or Greaves? I'd play Mazraoui. Is it bad to play Semenyo and bench Rodgers? Personally, I'd play the other way around, but I don't think it's close. Am I sticking with this team? I mean, it depends on Saka news, really. So we'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. Thoughts on Semenyo to McNeil? I don't mind it at all as a short-term pick. I do think from game week 11... that I would like Semenyo back. Holly's Cakes. I've been trying. I've been telling her the chat wants the cakes back. Cakes. We had 1 or 2 cakes and never again. Never again. I've been trying to get the cakes back. I don't need the cakes. I don't need the cakes. Cake is so unhealthy. I know. Is FPL Holly my girlfriend? No, it's a different Holly. We have this every week. No, Holly doesn't really do FPL. She is not on Twitter. Play Rodgers or Delap. Delap over Rodgers. Delap over Rodgers. Start Semenyo or Evan Nielsen. Probably Semenyo. Holly Sports a much better team. Right. Well, no, she doesn't. For anyone who doesn't know, Holly Sports Nottingham Forest. We had a joyful watch of Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest 2 weekends ago. We had a joyful watch. We went to it together. Of course, I'm a Chelsea fan, and I go a lot. And I took Holly to it. That was a fun watch. Take Holly out on holiday. We're going away We're going away on tomorrow morning. We are going to Portugal. Don't worry, all my stuff will come with me for content. But unfortunately, as much as going away in the international break would sound like a sensible thing to do, Holly is a teacher, so we have to go away in school holidays, which is next week, not this week. Will I plan my wedding to take place in the off season so there is no clashes? Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Don't worry. Yes, Portugal, we are going tomorrow. Huh? You thought I said Holly isn't my girlfriend. Holly is my girlfriend, but not the Holly that people know on Twitter. Different Holly. Holly teaches primary. Holly is technically my fiance. Lisbon and technically she is my fiance, but she doesn't like the word for some reason. So we just say, she likes to say that she's still my girlfriend. Holly Shan is my fiance. Right, we're not doing this again. I'm going to Porto next week and Lisbon and then Lisbon as well. Sorry, people want their super chats answered. I know, people like, oh, I say, oh, like fiance. It just feels like such a technical, like absolutely, like that's what she is, but like it's such a technical term that people think. I feel like people think that it's like I'm shoving it down their faces that like I'm engaged. So a lot of the time I just say that she's my girlfriend, but she partner, exactly. Like what's the word? Like fiance is the right word, but it's very like. Anyway, let's get back to talking about is Egg or Focal going to be my best man? They're not going to be my best man. My brother is my best man, but Ross and Oscar are both invited to the wedding. My missus. I don't like that. Significant other, like I love this. I love this. The date is next summer. Anyway, let's talk some FPL, shall we? Let's talk some FPL. Definitely not my missus. Well, exactly. That's the worst one. Football, please. Your other half. Yeah, all of these work. All of these work. Kai Havertz has been pictured with the Arsenal squad. Yeah, she's my triple captain. Like, just say wife speak. Right, we're going back to talking about FPL. What was I saying? Yeah, Kai Havertz has been pictured back in the squad. Havertz has been pictured in the squad. We don't know on Saka. Best Diaz replacement or Havertz to Solanke? I'd sell Diaz to Brennan Johnson and keep Havertz this week and do Havertz to Cunha next week. Someone beeping their horn outside. Any Saka news, Adrian? Nothing really. Well, nothing at all to go off. No. Harry and Holly but deadline stream would be carnage. It would be chaos. I'm also not sure Holly would want to do it for 2 hours. We maybe could get her on for some of it, but not 2 hours. Bro, thought that was a horn outside your window. These people. Saturday morning. Okay, it's 10 o'clock now, so that. But yeah. Do they mind? Do they mind? Unnecessary. Who are they honking at? When do I plan to use your triple captain? Maybe next week, but... Maybe next week. If City look good this week, I will think about it for Southampton at home. If not, I'll say it. I'll save it. I mean, I can't say anything. I'm on like a third floor or fourth floor of a flat and I'm shouting at the man in the street. The person in the street. Does he not know I'm streaming? Why not Onana over Raya on wildcard? I don't mind. I just think Raya is the best long-term pick and Onana's fine for the short term, but you also don't know what you're going to get from United every week. My team isn't my employees. I don't have employees. I don't know quite. Yeah, no. It's me beeping. You knew you were alive. Ah, thanks. It's Holly, a Forest fan. She is. Mazrari or Kanate? I played Mazrari over Kanate. Gander, sorry, let me have a look. Was it while the beeping was going on? Is it worth swapping out Palmer for Son? No. I'll take a -4 for AA to Van der Ven. Who's AA? And then Rodgers to Brendan Johnson. Oh, Alexander-Arnold. I wouldn't do Rodgers to Brendan Johnson and Trent out for a hit. No. Mazrari is back. He had heart operation and he's been confirmed fit and available for the weekend, which is crazy. Start Rodgers or Mavididi. I'd put Rodgers above Mavididi in... I'd put... sorry, I don't know why I just changed the slow mode right up. I meant to put it on subscriber only mode. Oh, it's already on subscriber only mode. Oh, well, there we go. One second. Tom Daniels, thanks for the... I don't know if that is Tom Daniels. I don't think it is Tom Daniels. Tom Daniels is my brother. That's why I thought for some reason he sent me a super chat, but the currency is not in pounds. So tell him 4,000 viewers will turn up and fix his horn. Yeah, I'm gonna. I'm good, thank you. You know, when I said at the start of the stream, I was gonna either be tired or go a little bit crazy during the stream. I think it's pretty obvious about which end of that route we're going down at the moment. But we are there anyway. Is he on holiday right now? I'm not. I'm going at about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning to Porto. For anyone who lives in Porto. Also, Porto, my favourite city in the world because it's where I saw Chelsea win the Champions League final. Using a Champions League final. Then on Friday, I will go from Porto to Lisbon, do my deadline stream in Lisbon. Yeah, I think he wants to know whether he should do Luis Diaz. I think he wants to know whether he should do Luis Diaz to Brennan Johnson. That's why he's honking so much. Yes, do Luis Diaz to Brennan Johnson. Where's the stag? I don't know where the stag is. There is one, but I don't know where it is. Right. Should go to Faro. Isn't that an airport? Isn't that a city where there's quite a big airport? I'm sure I've flown into Faro before. Start Luis Diaz or Semenyo. I play Luis Diaz over Semenyo. Cohen, this is your stream as I look after your 6-month-old son. Well, firstly, congratulations, and I hope you're enjoying the stream. Watkins or Solanke? I prefer Watkins, but Solanke's a better value pick, so Solanke probably, because we play FPL in value. Flecken or Fabianski? I mean, I'd play Flecken. I mean, Fabianski's not going to start, right? Alex, sorry. Have the exact same team as you, but Rodgers, Diaz instead of Smith Rowe, Mavididi. Keep Diaz another week and get Palmer in or transfer out now. I'd keep Diaz in that situation. Is Faz a good pick against Southampton? I don't mind it. Like, I still don't think Leicester are massively great defensively. I probably expect both teams to score in that game. Hopefully it's Mavididi. I would do so much for a Mavididi return. If Mavididi gets a goal today, we'll give away a football shirt next weekend. That's how certain I am that he's not going to do anything this weekend. But we will. And you can remind me of that. Clip it at 1 minute 13. We'll go back to doing football shirts giveaways for every time that Mavididi gets a return. Why would vice captain? I mean, I don't really have anyone else because if Saka is a doubt, I don't really want it on him. Raya, Van der Ven, or Collie. Yeah, so if you're looking for a 4 million defender, or Collie at Leicester is 4 million. So you can go with him over Wout Faes and Dibbling, or Pickford, Van der Ven. So it's basically Raya and Dibbling, or Pickford and 5.7. Probably Pickford 5.7. Mavididi hat-trick. Well, let's see. I want to see it all over Twitter. If I want the tags to be there if he does anything today, because there'll be football shirt. We'll be giving away some football shirts next weekend if he does anything. But that's how confident I am that I'm going to get a blank out of Mavididi this week. It will roll over until we finally get his first return in my team. And if he gets none, well, that'd be a sad day. Why is no one talking about Salah captaincy? I don't mind the Salah captain. I think he's 4th on my captaincy ranking, which is on screen now. Don't mind it at all. I don't mind it at all. At home to Chelsea. I just prefer Haaland over it. Now, maybe his record in those sorts of games is also pretty good as well. Mazraoui or Konate start? Mazraoui I'd start over Konate. Harry Kerr just sent a super chat saying, love you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hope you have a lovely weekend. Thanks for the super chat. Would I triple captain Haaland this week against Wolves or next week at home? I wouldn't do it this week because I need to see improvements from them this week before I even consider it. Best replacement for Semenyo this week? McNeil. Probably best short-term fixtures. You just did Palmer out for Son. I mean, it's not the worst, but I would probably be keeping Palmer, but it's not the worst. If I was selling him, Son would probably be the number one pick. Have I made any changes yet? No, Carl. How are we doing? Nice to see you. What advice for Diaz holders? Hold him. I'd probably hold him for this game because I expect him to start. But if you told me you sold for Brennan Johnson, I would also have absolutely no issues with that. I'd have absolutely no issues with that. Thoughts on Diogo Jota? He should start. He's probably a better pick than Diaz now because Darwin just doesn't offer the competition that Gakpo does. Smith Rowe, Rodgers. In my benching, I've got Rodgers above Smith Rowe. So in my benching ranking. The benching ranking is also quite useful because when I get asked that question 5 times in a stream, I probably used to not answer it exactly the same every time because it is really close. Smith Rowe versus Rodgers I probably did, but some of the others I probably didn't. But now I've got it and I can standardize before the stream the ranking of players that I would play. You got engaged last month. Congratulations. Feel so awkward saying fiance every time now. See? Girlfriend really rolls off the tongue. See? Ah, man. There you go. There you go. Also, so Holly and I, what's the date today? On this week, at the beginning of this week, was Holly and I's anniversary. Been together 8 years. So to say girlfriend for almost 8 years and then suddenly try and switch to fiance is weird. Is weird. Palmer to Foden or Saka to Foden? I mean, maybe Saka because he's the one who's a doubt, right? Why Wood over Slanky vice captain? Maybe Slanky should be my vice captain. Are you invited to my wedding? Oh, it's strictly no FPL wedding. If you can find out what Bukayo Saka ate for breakfast. No, I'm kidding. How are we doing? How are we? How are we doing? I haven't been on above average in a while. I don't seem to get the invites anymore. Probably because I keep being busy and you CBA with me. It's probably fair. Play Mikalenko or Greaves. Mikalenko over Greaves. Am I keeping Saka? Current plan is to keep Saka. Rodgers or Dibbling? Rodgers above Dibbling in my benching one. Wedding cake goes hard. I'm really sorry. I understand you need a wedding cake at a wedding, but it's also the most overpriced cake I will buy in my entire life. Live stream the wedding. I'm not sure Holly would turn up if I told her I was going to live stream our wedding. I think that might be a bit too far. She puts up with my streams on a Saturday morning, but you're not loving starting Smith Rowe over Kovacic. Well, play Kovacic if you want, but I think his best goal tally for Manchester City is 2 goals in a season, and he's just scored 2 at the weekend, so it's unlikely to get much better. Lisbon even better than Porto. I'm going there as well, Adrian. You had a macaroon tower instead of a cake at your wedding. Did I get Oasis tickets? I'm too young to be a big Oasis fan to care enough to try and get tickets. I did get Coldplay tickets though. 3 transfers. Palmer, Adama, Delap in for Semenyo, Jackson, Diaz. Or Diaz to Johnson this week. Jackson, Trent to Semenyo to Cunha, Aït-Nouri, Palmer next week. I probably would do the second option. I wouldn't sell Palmer. I don't think I'd be selling Palmer. I wouldn't be selling Palmer this week. Coldplay concert, I've never seen them. So I've heard it's amazing. Kirk, I have. Well, I'm having it. Smith Rowe versus Rodgers. Rodgers over Smith Rowe. Does Brennan Johnson keep starting? Yes. Yes. Is Saka nailed? No, we don't really have that much information. Coldplay or something else live. Isak, we do expect Isak to start. Yeah, they confirmed him fit. Ola Aina or Lewis? I'd go Lewis over Aina. Keane for Everton or Semenyo? I'd play Semenyo because with Branthwaite back, I don't think Keane will start. There's nothing on Saka. Literally nothing. I think I'm just going to hold Saka. People going Son. People going Son and Foden. The green arrow in my picture looks like a Christmas tree. Maybe at Christmas I should change it to a Christmas tree. That means I've got to get green arrows at Christmas to make it look like a Christmas tree. Diaz to Mbermo. Yes. Yeah, I would. Chris Wood or DCL? Chris Wood. Chris Wood. But I wouldn't sell DCL this week. If I was buying either, I'd buy Chris Wood. Maybe I'll change it. Smith Rowe or Jackson? Probably Smith Rowe. Luis Diaz, keep or sell? I mean, sell at some point. You can wait 1 week and play him this week if you want, but I would be selling at some point. Can I add Delap to benching players? Delap is at the top. Like, just, he's a play this week. He's got Everton at home. He's above them all. I mean, I can add him because I have space. Rico or Porro? Rico. I don't massively think that Porro is worth the money at the moment while Spurs are playing Maddison and Kulu together. If that changes, then he'll be straight back on the menu and we will be looking at it. But it's killing you not knowing what the mystery trip is. I agree. I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to know what it's going to be. Like double captains or clean sheets are worth double or clean sheets are worth double would be interesting. After Tony's tweet, am I going to move off Saka? Tony didn't tweet anything. Tony tweeted, kindly reminder that whoever tells you before FPL deadline about Saka starting or not is just guessing, so make your own decisions. He's just saying, like, no one knows. He's just saying that no one knows. Maybe Son is a bet. If I knew he was out, maybe I would sell him. Maybe I would sell him if I knew he was out. But until I know that, I don't think we can sell him. Did I use my wildcard already? Yes. Keeping Trent, I think so this week. Is Maddison... a thinking man's pick over Johnson this week. I'm not sure Maddison's worth the money over Johnson. If they were the same price, then we'd have the conversation. But I don't think with the value difference, it's worth it at the moment. When's Man United getting rid of Ten Hag? I don't know. That is definitely not something I have any information on. And I have never... Sadly, I can't tell you when Man United are going to get rid of Ten Hag. Hopefully never. Diaz to Brennan Johnson or Son and downgrade Trent. I just go Johnson. Diaz and Semenyo to Foden and Dibbling. Why do I say never? I've never had Man United team news. Bruno goal. Let's see. He's going to get points at some point. Delap a good option. Yes. Diaz and Semenyo to Foden and Dibbling. Or Saka to Foden. I would probably do the first two. I'm just not certain on selling Foden. I'm not going to sell Saka unless I see something... let's have, yeah, we'll wait and see. But I don't, if we get negative news on, Saka, then I might sell him. But until then, I'll be keeping him. Bro, ZZ, sorry. Where is it? Which super chat? Diaz and Semenyo to Foden and Dibbling. Yeah, I would did that. And Diaz to Brennan or Son and downgrade Trent. I just do Brennan Johnson. What is the plan with Raya for the next 5? I'll just be keeping Raya. I'll be keeping Gabriel. Mavididi or Rogers. I'd play Rogers over Mavididi. I'd play Rogers over Mavididi. Doesn't look like we're going to get anything, but... Mavididi to Johnson or roll. You stress so much. I'm just trying to find something on Saka. Would be very helpful for my team. Son and Foden are both there if we get negative news on Saka. But the thing is, I just only expect Saka to miss 1 week at a maximum, and I still don't know if that's worth selling him. But then you look at the fixtures that Spurs have got over the next few, and maybe it is worth it. But I'm only doing it if we get negative stuff on Saka. You're stuck between starting Collins versus United or Robinson versus Villa. I'd probably go Robinson over Collins. Over Connor Collins. What is Diaz not starting? Diaz should start, yeah. Diaz should start, yes. Son's mins will be limited. I think he should start, though. I don't know if my studio is broken. Eight Nori or Mikalenko. If I was buying new, I'd buy 8 Nori, but I would start Mikalenko over 8 Nori this week. Your plan was Saka to Son game week 9. Anyway, thoughts on going in game week 8? Well, if you were going to do it anyway, then you may as well do it a week early. Start Mazrari or Greaves. I'd start Mazrari this week over Greaves, yeah. Greaves or Van de Ven. Please reply. Should I start Trent or Van de Ven? If you've got Trent... And if Trent is involved in any of your benching decisions, you start Trent. Calafiori, it's just with Timber likely back. It's just another one to rotate with where they've got a difficult run. I don't mind the. I do mind the Calafiori punt actually. I wouldn't do it personally. I personally wouldn't buy Calafiori. You wildcard and you're keeping Trent. I don't mind Trent. If I was wildcarding, I probably wouldn't have him, but it's pretty close. Like, it would boil down to Trent versus Slanky for me. It will boil down to Trent versus Slanky for me. Diaz to Johnson. Yes, I probably would. Matoma to Johnson or roll and have 3 transfers next week. I probably would do Matoma to Johnson. If you're starting Matoma, I probably would do Matoma to Johnson. Against Newcastle. If you're likely to just do it next week anyway, then yeah, do it. But if there's something that might change next week, then probably roll it. Start Wood or Rodgers. Chris Wood over Rodgers. Hudson-Odoi or Semenyo. Hudson-Odoi. Can we analyse Annie Martin's photo in the car park? No. Oh. Just feel like whatever we decide to do is going to be wrong on Saka. Let me put a poll up. Let me do a poll. We haven't found. I've got my whiteboard. My little whiteboard. Let me do a poll. What are you doing with Saka? What are you doing with Saka? Starting. Benching. Selling. Do not own. Most people in the poll are all going to start him. 80% of you are starting him. Interesting. Start Leaf Davis or Arla Aina. I'd go Leaf Davis. The attacking threat is worth the punt for him. Prediction on Spurs versus West Ham. I'm going 3-1 Spurs, but who knows? Who knows? Would I risk going Saka to Foden if we get no news before the deadline? I feel it could be beneficial for hopping on the Foden train a bit early. I don't mind those moves at all. I don't mind those moves. I would want Saka negative news before I made it, if I'm honest. But I don't mind the Saka to Foden sideways switch for 6 weeks and then you have to come back. I just feel like we're going to get to a point where we're going to need lots of transfers. And I don't want to be... It feels like an additional transfer that I don't massively need. Personally, but Arsenal fixtures are tough, yeah, but then they get very good again. Like 3 weeks of tough fixtures, but they play against a Newcastle and a Chelsea team who have absolutely shipped goals this season. So it's just, if he doesn't play today, then yeah, like selling was probably the right thing to do. But if he does play today, then Rodgers ahead of Mbeumo this week. No, I play Mbeumo over Rodgers. Would I start Rodgers and Pau Torres or Smith Rowe and Robinson? I'd play Rodgers and Robinson, probably. Rodgers and Robinson is probably where I'm at. Buonanotte versus Mavididi. If I had the choice now, I'd go Buonanotte. I'd go Buonanotte now. Rodgers or Dibbling? Rodgers, if I had to pick. Why can't I sell players for their original price? I can only go for the price I bought them for. I don't... When players change in price, your selling price will change. So if they go down by 0.1, your selling price will go down by 0.1. But if they go up by 0.2, then your selling price goes up by 0.1. You get all of the losses and only half of the profits. Bench Rodgers or Delap. You've got to play Delap if you've got him. Play Delap. Son leaks. No, he's been pictured arriving with the squad though, so I think that is as much of a leak as we're going to get on Spurs. Can Brentford keep on scoring? Yes, probably not as early this week though. Start only 2, Trent, Mavadidi and Aina. I'd probably bench Ola Aina out of those. Trent has to play, and then I'd probably play Mavadidi over Aina. Am I planning on keeping Haaland after game week 12? Probably, but not certain. Am I still planning on bringing Palmer in next week if I don't bring him in this week? It's currently the plan, but it's not guaranteed. Why does no one use Sells? He's been great at Forest, a good defensive team. We didn't know he was nailed at the start of the season. We didn't massively know he was first choice. And then when it came to wildcard, their fixtures weren't looking quite as nice. Bench Trossard or Jackson? I'd bench Jackson. Hello.
Hello, I'm not speaking for long because I know it's crucial times. I've just been delayed listening to you on my walk. And I was like, I saw a comment and it said something like, the half. And then I thought, oh God, am I being brought into this? And I've just been listening and I was like...
Did you see the text?
Yeah, I was like, oh dear.
I said that we...
Technically your fiancé, yeah, we are.
But you don't like
it.
See, she doesn't like the word fiancé.
It's very long and just a bit, I don't know. I'm not a fan. I have an issue with words. So.
I don't know if they can hear you.
Sorry, I have an issue with words.
Fiancé
is one of them.
Holly doesn't like the word fiancé, which is why I said technically, but...
No, that's not right. You need to say fiancé. You can't put technically because that's weird.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not Holly Shand again.
Yeah.
And yes, I support Forest. I feel like that sums up...
Fiancé is shorter than girlfriend, but it...
No, we're not girlfriend. I would say partner, but then I know that sounds really old.
Partner sounds weird as well.
Either. I know. There's no good terms. You are my... I just call you H. You're H.
Yeah, but...
And I'm your H.
Yeah, but that's... What you don't say that to someone else.
No, I probably would.
Oh, right.
Knowing me, I probably would. Right, have a nice time.
Someone's asked if you're a strict teacher.
Well, I would say probably yes. I'm 8 years in, and I suppose you get a bit stricter and a bit more.
They want to know if you've heard anything on Saka.
No, but I heard about his New Balance shoes. I was listening to you.
She says she doesn't know if Saka's starting, but she heard about his New Balance shoes. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it because it's crunch time. I'm captaining Haaland.
You're captaining Haaland. Thanks, H.
See, someone just said, is it Holly Shand? No. No, Holly Rain, actually. Bye.
Sorry. Pedro to Solanke, then who to bench, and Burma, Rodgers, Eze or Saka. I'd probably play Eze over Rodgers. Probably play Eze over Rodgers. Will Saka to Foden and Semenyo to Johnson, or have to play Semenyo or Greaves this week? Saka to Foden and Semenyo to Johnson. Yeah, I don't mind Saka to Foden and Semenyo to Johnson if you've got a dead spot. Can you not upgrade the dead spot though? Is that not a better move than Semenyo to Johnson? Van der Ven or Mikalenko. I play Van der Ven this week. It's 25 minutes to the deadline and there's nothing on Saka. Oh, it's a bit of a nightmare. Any Spurs team news? No. They've been pictured arriving at the stadium and it includes Son, so that's about as much as we're going to get with Spurs. We don't really get Spurs early team news. I don't know really what you'd want. Like, I suppose you want just confirmation, right? But I don't think we'll get it. We rarely get Spurs team news. Literally nothing. Nothing. What to do? Kulusevski, yeah, I don't mind as a differential. I would probably go Johnson over Kulusevski, but I don't mind Kulusevski if you have slightly less funds. Start Mikalenko or Robinson. Robinson is... Where's Mikalenko on my benching? Oh, yeah, Mikalenko's just above Robinson in my benching ranking. Saka travelled. We don't know that. iDroid, sorry. Let me scroll up and find that. Should I sell Trent to Lewis this week or hold? I wouldn't do that until you plan on investing the money on something else. I don't mind the transfer, but if you're just going to leave money in the bank, then I wouldn't do it. Trent is a better pick than Lewis despite the fixtures, but less good value pick. You can do Foden for free and play him with Saka. Next game week, Saka to... I can do Foden for free and play him with Saka. Next game week, Saka to Palmer for -4. I probably wouldn't be taking hits to move your premiums around, but if it was me. Luis Diaz to Smith Rowe and João Pedro to Solanke looks like two sensible moves. Why Mikalenko benched? Because I'm not starting him over any of those back three defenders that I've got. Would I start Luis Diaz? If I had him, I would start him. I would definitely start him if I had him, but yeah. Just got here. Am I locked in? No, we're just waiting on anything on Saka, basically. And if we get negative news on Saka that he's not going to be in the squad, then I will probably sell him up. Foden versus Son is close. I probably will go Son just because I feel like I'll get 4 out of 4 starts with him, but I'm not certain I'll get the same out of Foden. Eight Nori or Olaina. I'd go... I'd play Aina this week, but 8 Nori's a better buy. Do I make another change? I don't think I'm going to do the Palmer move. I might end up doing the Palmer move today, though, depending on what price changes are likely to happen. But I don't think it will be before the deadline. Chat is going quite fast, so I'm just going to up the slow mode slightly. Start Van der Ven or Mikalenko. Van der Ven. If you had Johnson, would I go Foden over Son? Probably. Triple Spurs attack would feel like slightly too much. But if I had Johnson and no Solanke, then I would probably still just go Son. Over 8,000 of you watching and 1,500 likes. Drop a like on the stream. Hopefully you can hit 2,000. Just a very little plug. I am drinking Huel, which was in my video yesterday, but if you are interested, it is what I have for my lunches a lot and like breakfast and stuff. It's a complete meal. You just add water. If some of you in the chat saying you like something more substantial, you can try their hot and savoury range. They are linked in the description as well if you want to check them out, and there is a code there as well. For new customers, there's a variety bundle which you can get as well, which is nice signing up if you want to just try some things. That's what I'm having while I stream as well. Coffee caramel. Oh yeah. Konate or Mikalenko to start. I play Mikalenko. I play Mikalenko over Konate. Vardy or Delap. Delap is better. Someone's saying... If you see anything on Saka, by the way, as per usual, on the streams, please tag me in it. Please tag me and stuff, because that is the easiest way for me to see what you are seeing. Havertz is pictured with the squad. Charles Watts. So I'm just going to say, so someone tagged me in this tweet from Charles Watts along with Above FPL, and he's blocked. So he's muted. Saka. Oh, maybe this is the real Charles Watts. Oh, interesting. I'm not sure why I've got him muted then. He must have been wrong before about something. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep an eye on it. Do you mind? That's not Charles Watts. Oh. It is. Anyway, I need to play 2 of Konza, Robinson, Howard Bellis. Who do I bench? I'd probably bench Howard Bellis. Oh, it's FPL Boona. I didn't think Charles Watts would follow me. That's why he's muted. Bruno, you can get back on mute. It was just he's retweeted stuff lower as well. I should have scrolled a little bit further. It's not. It's fake. It's a scam. I didn't think I would have been surprised if Charles Watts had decided to follow me. But you never know. Maybe he's a big FPL fan. We have nothing on Saka. Is the Fran just sold Saka for Son. I mean, maybe he knows something. Linton, sorry. Salah and Diaz to Saka and Son. Yeah, I like those moves. I like those moves quite a lot, actually. Am I getting Palmer? Not this week, no. It's just what I do with Saka. I mean, I could do Saka to Palmer, but I don't think that is the move for me this week. I think I would go Son if I was going to do one. I think I was going to do Son if I was going to do one. Is Mikalenko playing? We expect Mikalenko to start, yeah. Anyone or no, if Son is starting, we expect Son to start. He's with the squad. Do the Palmer transfer, you won't regret it. I don't think I'm going to do it this week. I quite like Smith Rowe. And also I might change my mind on how I want to get to Palmer. Palmer is almost certain to come in for Smith Rowe next week. It might just be, it could be Solanke that drops out. Morning, Jack. How are you doing? Oh, I didn't set my so rare lineups. Oh. Would I start Ryan Aït-Nouri over Mikalenko? No, I'd start Mikalenko over Aït-Nouri. I love Aït-Nouri as a pick, but for the long term, not for this week. Start Aina or Smith Rowe. Jota and Trent to Foden and Aït-Nouri this week or next. Jota and Trent to Foden and Aït-Nouri this week or next. Probably next. Saka to Foden, wildcard back in game week 12. That's not... Like, if you've got the wildcard, selling Saka is much easier because you Saka, you just... you just wildcard him back in. No Saka news, folks. Nope, nothing. No Saka news. Maybe I'll just hold this and I will... My trusty whiteboard. I'm just going to stream like this for the next... What time is it? 10 minutes. What to do with Ahmad? I mean, I'd bench him. I don't expect that many minutes for Ahmad over the next few weeks. Start Porro or Semenyo. Porro or Semenyo. I'd play Porro over out of the two. Colwill or Davis to start. Leave Davis. Thoughts on Wolves assets? Absolutely. Cunha and Aït-Nouri look like good picks. Start Konate or Pau Torres. I'd probably play Konate in the home fixture. Sell DCL for Jimenez or save the transfer. I wouldn't sell DCL this week. Would I be tempted to bring in Johnson over Son? I could do that. I just think Son is better if I've got the money, and I would want to just keep the money there for when I want Saka back, so I probably would just go Son. Ah. 9 minutes to go until the deadline. Honestly. Saka out, Salah in as a differential. I don't mind that. I probably would go, if you've got the money, but I would probably go Son if it was me. Overall rank right now is 220k. Will Saka play? We don't know. No Saka news yet. I'm just going to play him. Saka to Foden or Trent and Semenyo to Maddison and Van der Ven. I mean, I wouldn't go Maddison. I'd go Brennan Johnson over Maddison. And I currently plan on keeping Saka, so probably the other moves. Kai is expected to be fine for Arsenal. He was definitely pictured with the squad. Diaz and Pedro to McNeil and Slanky. Yes, I would do those moves. Andy Lex Talk FPL sold Saka for Son. Did he? Did he actually? Did he say why? Let's see. Is Diaz to Buonanotte worth it? No, I don't think I would do that. If you're going to spend the Diaz money on something else, then fine. But if not, I would just keep him this week. I think Havertz will start. Fake news. All right, well, you still got him. Well, who said that? Because let me... James Cronin? put user in timeout. Semenyo or Mykolenko first bench. Semenyo, as per minus something. Is sometimes doing nothing the right thing? Yes. Yes, sometimes doing nothing is the right thing. Start Harwood, Bellis, Greaves or Rogers. Rogers, definitely. Definitely. Martinelli starting. We expect him to, but we don't know for certain. We expect him to, though, yeah. Any news on Spurs? No, we are expecting a normal lineup, but we are expecting Son to start over Werner. Is what we're expecting, but we don't have it confirmed. We don't have it confirmed. We have 4 minutes to go to the deadline. Jackson, Solanke or Delap. I probably would go Solanke. Timber News, we don't have anything. Calafiori and Ben White are both also in the squad, so I wouldn't be buying any of them, really. Is Martinelli starting? We don't know. He's expected to be in the squad, but we don't know that much on Arsenal, unfortunately. Trossard to start. Again, probably based on the other injuries. I'd be surprised if all of those played and Trossard didn't. You swear if Saka plays 15 minutes. There's literally nothing. No one's tagging me in anything. What is the Saka news? Nothing. I need to write it down again. No Saka news. FPL Mate's got a ticker saying Saka spotted with the team. We don't know Saka spotted with the team. We don't know it's Saka. So we don't know that. Dibbling or Mbermo. You've got to play Mbermo every week. So Mbermo sadly over Dibbling. Havertz news. We expect him to start. Any leaks for the early kickoff? No, nothing for the early kickoff. Nothing. Saka or Son. I mean, if you don't own either, I'd buy Son. But if you own Saka, I wouldn't sell Saka. I mean, you can. Like, if you don't think he starts, you can sell him. I'm going to keep him because I want him for the long term. Greaves or Semenyo as first bench. Semenyo as per my team. Haaland triple captain. No, I want to see improvement. Next week, Arsenal are the biggest trolls. Yes, right. We're going to do 2 minutes of rapid fire questions and then that will be the deadline. If you are going to head off, please make sure you've liked the stream. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel as well. We're going to stick around for about 20 minutes after the end of the stream as well to do some of the new team news, to do some of planning for future weeks and do fancy challenge as well and just generally chill. So do stick around, but let's do 2 minutes of quick fire questions. Like and subscribe before we do. Diaz to Johnson or Maddison. Johnson is better than Maddison. DCL or Semenyo. I'd play DCL and I would not sell DCL this week if you've got him. I would keep him and hold on to him. Benching ranking will be coming round in just a moment. I will put that on a much longer timer for you and then you can have a look at the benching ranking which will be in the top right hand corner in just a moment. I would play Mykolenko over playing Robinson. Would I start Diaz or Mykolenko? Diaz, definitely. I'd play Rogers over Aina. Always favour the attacker if you're unsure on a benching decision. Rogers or Smith Rowe? I would play Rogers. Play Rogers over Smith Rowe. Let me just make sure my team is in order before I do this as well. Smith Rowe or Jota? I'd play Jota. Watkins to Solanke or Roll? I would Roll. Sell Palmer for Saka? No. Wood or DCL for vice captain? Wood. Any Chelsea players for the next 5? I'm going to be looking at Palmer. Let's also see how Reece James gets on. Joking, I'm not going to buy Reece James. Sell Semenyo for Smith Rowe. I'm not sure I'd massively do that. I just bench Semenyo until their fixtures get better. Start Mykolenko. If you need to, he's not a bad option. Are you dating Focal? You guys are cute together. No. Do love Focal though. Start Diaz or Smith Rowe. Diaz over Smith Rowe. Sell Havertz for Solanke. No, I would just roll. Sell Semenyo for Johnson. Yes, you can do that. Mavadidi or Raul. I'd play Raul over Mavadidi. Start Jota. Yes. Saka, we have no news on. I would just play him, but I wouldn't buy him this week. Saka to Son. If you want to get rid of Saka, Son is my number 1. Foden is my number 2. If not, go to someone like a Brennan Johnson. Start Jimenez or Van de Ven. Always favour the attacker, Jimenez. DCL for Solanke, I would just hold on to DCL. Sell Smith Rowe for Johnson. If you have the money, yes. Madueke for Johnson, yes, I would do as well. That is going to be 5-10 seconds until the deadline. Please go and check your teams. Make sure they are locked in as well. Go and check everything now. The deadline is going to be now. Luckily, that timer is early. Like, it's 30 seconds early, so it runs out on stream, and then you have time to go and check your teams and everything. But go and check your teams. That is going to be the deadline. It is just hit 11 o'clock. The game will be, hasn't updated yet. I've just refreshed. I didn't change Saka. There we go. The game is updating. Game is updating. Let me post my team. Everyone breathe. And he did move for Son in the end. FPL Challenge, we will do. We will do. Don't worry. If you want the league code for either FPL Challenge or the General League, it is in the description. If you are leaving now, please do drop a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel as well. Game week. Let me just tweet my team. Everyone, just breathe. There we go. Right. Let's have a look, shall we? Subscribed since last year. Thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. It is 11 o'clock. We are... So it works quite well now, right? Because the lineups are 50 minutes earlier. So we can stay live until 11:15. We can do Fantasy Challenge. We can chill for 15 minutes. Then the lineups come out and then we can wrap up the stream. There was a player like with a hood up that we don't know that people think is Saka, but it could be a few players. Let's pick our team. Interceptions and tackles are worth 1 point. 3 ball recoveries are worth 1 point. So this is all about ball recoveries, interceptions and tackles. It's like what we had in the Euros. So things like centre-backs, things like Declan Rice might be good picks. So I'm actually going to go with a 2 at the back. I'm going to go in goal. Let's pick Andre Onana based on their number of clean sheets. In defence, a lot of centre-backs do well here. So I'm actually going to take... I'm going to take De Ligt and I'm going to change Onana. Pope at home to Brighton. Sells. I like Sells. Let's take Sells. Another defender we want. Maybe we take midfielders. Mark Gahey was also pretty good for it. Martinez, Leif Davis. Oh, one of the Arsenal guys. Where's Saliba? You took Virgil and Van de Ven with Caicedo in midfield. Caicedo's not a bad shout. I might go Rice, though. Because Rice offers a little bit of everything. Can I search a player? Yeah. I'm going to go Rice. Caicedo has lots of tackles. Yeah, you do still get points for attacking returns, though. So I'm going to take Watkins. And I'm going to captain Saliba. No, I'm going to captain De Ligt. What a team this is. Gravenberch, also good. The issue is you do want some attacking threat as well, right? Because they still get points for goals and stuff. So, you still get points for goals and stuff like that. Akanji and Gehi, the most recoveries in the Euros. Yes, both of them were really good in the Euros. Doesn't necessarily always translate as a slightly different system. But yeah, let's have a look. Is there anything... see nothing on anywhere on Saka. So if I see anything throughout the day, I will share it. But Caicedo's been really good this year. Caicedo's been really good this year. I did end up starting Saka. Sorry, I was just posting my team. What good content that is for you. Yeah, this was my team in the end. This was my team. Are you guys playing, out of interest, Fantasy Challenge every week? Are you playing it because I play it, or are you playing it because you actually want to? If you do want the leagues for everything, they're all in the description. Everything's in the description that you could possibly want. Do I think save chips for double game weeks or gamble on good fixtures? So, Lalari, you didn't miss anything. We didn't get anything on Saka, so you missed nothing. You didn't miss anything. You don't play it. Keeping Trent, very interesting. I may well sell Trent this week. So if I have a look at plan FPL, just have a look at my future team. So the plan will still be to do Smith Rowe and Trent this week to Palmer and Ryan Aït-Nouri. That is the current plan. Why do I player filters? Let's go back up to Palmer and Ryan Aït-Nouri. Play it but wouldn't miss it. You thought Fantasy Challenge would be good. It's actually really boring compared to the normal game. Interesting. Ryan Aït-Nouri. So that's still the plan. Roll my second transfer. Going into game week 10, I will have 2 transfers. Things look pretty nice. I don't need a move. Going into game week 11, things look pretty nice. I don't need a move. Going into game week 12, I'd have 4 transfers. I would potentially look at a Chris Wood, a Mavididi, and a Lewis change. Potentially. To someone like a Cunha, to someone like a... I don't know who the cheap midfielders are from that week that have good fixtures. But, I mean, yeah. Sancho, but I probably would need someone cheaper. Sort by price descending. I mean, Mavididi's not the end of the world, but if he does well, I might end up keeping him. Adama, we'll see. Like, this spot is massively up for debate, but maybe I keep that. Then I have 4.4 though, but I probably have more by the time price changes. Yes, it does. It's not Bruno. I got there. But then him to like someone else in defence, like I don't know who we'd be looking at. Like the Chelsea defence, I could go to Colwell. Like the Chelsea fixtures are pretty nice. I'm short of it now, right? But price change, it'd be something like that would be the plan over the next few weeks. And then things look pretty nice going forward. Like I know the Brentford fixtures turn, but I just don't know if I'll ever plan on selling him. Like Semenyo will play over Mavididi and stuff like that. So anyway, that's where we're at. Could go for a Brighton pick. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I'll be having a look at like Welbeck in and around that time. We'll be having a look at Dunk potentially as the 4.5 defender that I put in as well. That's true. That is a good time. Like Minte, but oh Manny, live content. I know you know if he's sick today. Oh, he's sick. No, I'm not phoning up and trolling FPL mate. No. Is he sick? Oh, well, that's a shame. Hope he gets better soon. No one likes to be ill. Happy I didn't go Solanke. He looks like the fourth best attacker in the Spurs lineup. I know what you mean. Favourite pizza topping? Normally pepperoni, but I'm basically any meat. Like, give me sausage, beef, bacon, pepperoni, salami. That basically. Thank you, Manny. But I'm not. I'm not gonna phone up FPL mate and troll him. Yeah. Chicken, yeah. Was close to saying Trent for Lewis and Semenyo Johnson rolled and have forfeit transfers next week. Nice. Will I be... Sorry, Manny. Team's goated. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. If Smith Rowe or Mavididi score today, I'll be happy. But Italian sausage elite. Yeah, I like these things. I like these things. 4 minutes to go until we get a bit of team news. It's actually crazy what people try and like make up for clicks. Like, this is why you have to be really careful. This is why you have to be really careful of who you believe. Because if you looked at every Twitter account, there's probably 10s, 20s of accounts on Twitter claiming that Saka's fit or not fit. And you've just got to know which of them to believe. Ilman and Dye has looked good, yes. Any dibbling points are needed. Spurs assets. Yeah, which is the one player you'd like to see points from this weekend? Mine is absolutely Mavididi. Top of the pile. Then Smith Rowe and Chris Wood. Sweet corn on pizza. Oh, please. Not my chat. Not my chat. Sweet corn on pizza's like is Ross type chat levels. Oh, that's the type of thing I expect Ross's chat to have. Mavididi number 1, Smith Rowe 2, Chris Wood 3 is probably it. Is your plan Wood to João Pedro? I mean, João Pedro is unlikely to be fit by then. Maybe João Pedro, maybe Danny Welbeck, or maybe Cunha as well. I like the look of Mateus Cunha. Dibbling for sure. Would I start Saliba over Rodgers? I would start Rodgers, but unfortunately, you probably needed to do that about 10 minutes ago because the deadline has passed. The deadline has passed. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out. I'll share anything on Twitter that I see. If there is any news on Saka. You went Son for Saka. Don't mind it. What TV shows are on the agenda right now? We have just watched. What have we watched? We're in a bit of a... So we were watching... what was it called? the program on Netflix about the Vikings, Uhtred. The Last Kingdom, which was really good. We finished that, and now we've just been watching. We've watched something called The Perfect Couple, which was a bit weird. I didn't love it that much. And at the moment, we don't have something particularly that we're watching, so we will take recommendations. We're about to go on away for a week, so we'll watch something when we get back. Pickford, Lewis, Romero, Trent, Salah and Burmo, Johnson, Hudson-Odoi, Haaland, Delap, Watkins. Yeah, team's nice. Team's nice. Romero is actually fine. I was going to say I don't like him. Hudson-Odoi is fine as well for this week. And while Gibbs-White's out, he's actually a better pick. What's my rank? Last Kingdom also has a movie. I've watched at the end. Yeah. The movie's worth watching. Anyway, that is going to be... We're going to get some team news. Some lineups. So, let me get that up for you. West Ham and Spurs. Well, Spurs hasn't been tweeted yet. West Ham's has. Sponge, how we doing? Areola, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, Emerson, Rodriguez, Souček, Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen, Antonio, Fabianski on the bench. I mean, it's pretty much as expected, right? Spurs still haven't tweeted their lineup. Thank you very much, Spurs. Appreciate you being on time for stuff. Thank you, Spurs. There we go. Son starts. Johnson starts. Solanke starts. Everyone starts. No Fulkrog, no. I am tired. I slept so badly last night. This is the Spurs team. Son starts. Solanke starts. Johnson starts. Maddison starts. Kulusevski starts. It is Bissouma, though. No Bentancur. I think I spoke about it on the podcast this week. That attack with Bentancur behind is not good enough. Richarlison on the bench. Yep. Werner on the bench. Yep. Yeah. Does mean that we'll likely see a sub for maybe Johnson and Solanke, which will be interesting. It might impact my transfers if Solanke does get an early sub. Anyway, that is going to be that. We're going to wrap up the stream. Andy might play the blinder with Son. Maybe. He was the one I wanted if Saka wasn't going to play, but we will have to wait and see on Saka. I will post anything I see. Thank you all very much for your support in the stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for sticking around afterwards. Am I going to regret selling Saka for Son in hours? Maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you all very much. Have a lovely weekend. Videos will be back probably on Sunday evening, if not Monday morning. Usual stuff next week. Usual deadline stream next week. Have a lovely one. Have a great weekend. Like and subscribe before you go. And I'll be back again very soon.